Good morning, everybody. We just got dropped off by our shuttle driver, Becky. She's been a great support over the past couple days. And we are now officially on our way into the last leg of our trip into Waynesboro. So today should be another one of those really good days. Probably overcast. It's already in the 60s, but it's cool with the breeze. I'm sure I'll be shedding my jacket pretty soon. But we got 14.5 miles today, and I'm sorry, 14.3 miles today. And probably the first part of it is the toughest, which is not terribly tough. We're starting out at about 2,900 feet, and we're going to head up over the next 3 miles to Humpback Mountain, and it sits at a little over 3,600 feet. So what, we've got 700 feet to climb in the course of 3 miles. So I imagine a gradual incline. It doesn't appear to be really drastic. And then after we come off of Humpback, then it's going to be a pretty gradual descent for the most part, all the way down to the gap that leads into Waynesboro. So that's the plan for today, 14.3. So without further ado, let's get her going. Quite a rock outcropping. Looks like we're going to climb around it, I would say. I was about to say up on it, but I don't think we'll do that today. Probably just around it. Oh yeah. The trail's going this way. I was at the end of last video, I was showing some blooms that I think I characterized as mountain laurel blooms, but the bush and the leaves themselves were different than the mountain laurel. And the mountain laurel typically, I believe, has a white bloom. And when I got back and I was looking at the video more closely, I'm kind of more convinced that that was more of a wild azalea versus a laurel. So I think that's what it was. But all the wild azaleas I've ever seen were further south on the AT, and they were all orange. And these blooms were clearly a pink color. But the style of them, the makeup of them, certainly appeared to be more of an azalea to me than a laurel. So yeah, you guys can, if you haven't already, you can comment on that, and you may know exactly what that was. I am not an expert when it comes to flowers and bushes and things like that, for sure. All right, look, there is a little bit of a trail up here to the top of this rock. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm here. Let's go see what it's like. Here we go. There goes Pacer, wrapping around me. Oh yeah. Well, not much of a view with the tree cover. It's kind of cool up here. You can see the drop. Down there is where we were. That's the trail where we were just a minute ago. There's Pacer. He's gonna wait on me. He's not gonna climb this hill. All right, back on trail. All right. We've been climbing now. I'd say we're about 2 miles in. This is what they call the wintergreen view. We still haven't made it all the way to the top yet. But, woohoo! First step's a doozy. Let's check it out. Well, not sure why they call it a wintergreen view. It probably is not green in the winter because it's the spring and it's still not green. The only green I see is over there on the hillside. Some really nice homes. I'm sure they have some great views. There you see a whole line of condominiums, probably overlooking the Shenandoah Valley. Wintergreen view. All right, so that's where we came from. We got a little bit less than a mile. I think it's a 0.9 up to the very highest point that we'll have today, which is Humpback Mountain, the peak of Humpback Mountain, which is at 3,600 feet, I think I said. So we'll press on, and I'm pretty sure there's views there as well. So we'll stop for that for sure. All right, we'll make our way up the trail. Okay, I think we've made it to the top of Humpback Mountain. I assume this hump that's running across this ridge right here is how it gained its name. I think there's a view to be had, perhaps over here. We will see. Climb this rock. Oh yeah. Lots of rock. Kind of windy. Here's the view. You see a lesser valley there. I'm not sure about that valley. And if you look over the ridge, you'll see that much larger valley. I assume that's Shenandoah Valley. In the far distance. Okay, so we are again at 3,600 feet in elevation now, a little over, which is our highest climb of the day. And I believe from here we're going to start heading downhill, of course, on into Waynesboro. But we still have 11 miles to the gap. It's called Rockfish Gap, which is the primary Appalachian Trail gap that goes into Waynesboro. So we got a lot more hiking to do. It's about 15 minutes till 10. We've covered a little over 3 miles, so we're not really breaking any records here in terms of speed. Of course, we had a little bit of climbing to do, but everything from here on out should be a little easier going. So let's go ahead and make some distances. Look at this rock wall. We've seen some pretty rudimentary rock walls as we've traveled thus far. This one, somebody put some time into stacking these stones just so. So I presume it was a property owner that owned this ridge line, this top. They were doing their best to kind of clear, you know. I'm not sure. A lot of rocks left. I don't know if you could ever pick them all up. But pretty nice work. Some spots here where it looks like it's been knocked over, but then there's other areas that's really well preserved and intact. And hear the birds singing, and it seems to go on a bit. So what a pile of work, literally, this was for somebody or somebody's. Now, so again, so far today we've done 4 miles and got plenty of time. When I know it's probably a downfall, but when I know I've got plenty of time, then I start to use the time, and I don't really press it, don't really push it. So all we really need to do today is get into Waynesboro, and I was able to contact a lady who does some shuttling around that area, who agreed to pick us up at the gap and then take us to the Quality Inn. Yeah, we're stepping it up for tonight, Quality Inn. Now, the price of it's probably about $80. We're going to split that cost again tonight, but tomorrow Pacer will be going his own direction, and then backfilling his position, if you will, is my old buddy Detox. So he'll be coming in. So I'm going to take a 0 day on Monday as Detox arrives, and then we'll be gathering up our provisions and finalizing our plans and hitting our trail. And I will share those plans with you on the next video. But I'll just tell you up front that, you know, staying in the hotels and doing shuttles and all that stuff is not going to be a part of the plan. We're going to go for a while without shuttles and without the hotel or hostels, that's for sure. And it could be a delay in some videos in the future for sure, but because that, you know, that's one of the huge benefits. We just won't have the Wi-Fi sources probably, and but I'll have to upload whenever I can get near a restaurant or someplace that maybe provides Wi-Fi. And but that's okay. We'll learn more about that plan when we get closer to that day and get it all solidified. So should be fun. I actually look very much forward to it because the next call it 120 miles we'll be into the Shenandoah National Forest and Park. And I've really never spent much time there along Skyline Drive, and I look forward to the views and the somewhat easier terrain and some of the things that the area offers. So yeah, we'll get into all that, but I'm already starting to look ahead beyond today, that's for sure. So yep, we will look forward to catching up with you a little bit further down the path. Again, right now we have, let's call it about 10 miles to the finish line. All right, hope everybody's having a wonderful Easter day, and we will catch up with you a little further. All right, folks, look at this very difficult Appalachian Trail. A couple things to notice. It's flat and it's wide, which tells you that it's heavily used, not just by thru hikers, but by a lot of day hikers in and around the Waynesboro area, specifically Skyline Drive, Blue Ridge Parkway. There's lots of entry points that allow day hikers or section hikers to come in and off the trail pretty easily. And we've already passed a number of families with dogs and not really carrying very much water at all. Looks like this is something that they do pretty regularly. I mean, this literally is coated with pea gravel for your comfort. This is very nice. I'm not apologizing for the trail. I'm just happy to finally have some easy trail. But this has been nice. So again, anything this wide and this well traveled tells me that it's going to be a fairly easy trail. So we'll enjoy it while we can, because before you know it, we'll be climbing rocks again. But just thought I'd share this piece with you anyway. We just crossed over the water here, folks. Beautiful water source. Look at this waterfall. Pretty awesome. We have made it to the Paul Wolf Shelter. Nice little fire ring. Somebody's already gathered up some wood for future stayers. Let's check this out. This is a little bit different design than we've seen. These rocks are nicely positioned for a step up. Now this one is one where you could probably put at least 6 on the bottom, and then there's room on this second level for probably 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think this thing would sleep 10 pretty comfortably. And worst comes to worst, people can sleep out here on top of the picnic table, wherever they've got to go. I like this too. I've never seen this, where they cover that with aluminum. So probably a little bit cleaner. and protects the wood underneath. But that raging water that we just saw in the last clip is right down below us and serves as the water source for this particular shelter. So yeah, Paul Wolf shelter. Pretty nice, I think. So where are we at? We're currently 4 miles from our extraction point. So we've been tearing it up. You know, the trail's been frankly been easy, and I'm happy with that. And therefore we've been, I usually calculate 2 miles per hour, and sometimes when I'm going downhill or the trail's easy, I can go a little faster than that, and then sometimes when I'm fighting with a rock and going up a mountain, then it's going to be slower than that. But an average of 2 miles an hour, and I start doing the calculation today, we're averaging well better than 2 miles per hour. So we're going to be there early, and I think we have pretty good cell service because the lady who's picking us up, she said just text me like 30 minutes before we need the ride. So that's like 1 mile out. So I'll be texting her a little bit sooner than she might have anticipated, and hopefully she's available to come get us a little early too. So things are working out well for us today, and we're kind of getting to the point now with these trees. We kind of every now and then, early on, a month or two ago, we might have a nice view, but now because there was no leaves on the trees, but now with everything filling in, some of those nice views that we maybe didn't anticipate are probably not getting them anymore. So anyway, that's just part of it, but it sure is nice too to walk along the trail and see things blooming and wildflowers and maybe some of those wild azaleas, and it won't be long till we start seeing rhododendrons and things like that as well. So it's all good. I guess that's it about for now. My partner is still at the water source. He needs to get some water, and I'm sure he'll be finishing up here in a minute, and we'll be heading on further down the trail. We'll catch up with you as we get closer to the extraction point, and we'll talk to you then. The Paul Wolf shelter. We have reached a spot. It's called the Low Family Cemetery. I would love to know how old some of these places are, these things are, but they're just rocks, just markers. There's headstones, nothing at all inscripted really that would suggest a date. Here's one. It is probably the most recent. This talks about 1934 to 2016. These are really old here. Just markers that are up in there. But who would ever know who they were? This one has just a bit of an inscription, but no dates that I can read. Pretty old. Interesting. Low Family Cemetery. Well, we've come upon an old homestead place. Kind of seems like an odd spot to put a house right on the side of this hill. I mean, even the ground inside the perimeter of the structure is not level, so it seems like maybe this is all you're allowed and this is what you have to use what you've got, but it just seems to me like a strange place to build. It's called the W.J. Mayo Home Place. Yeah, that's all. I've tried to do a little research. I don't really have a lot more information, but would be nice to understand that a little bit more. I'm sure that if that fireplace could talk, there's no telling what it could tell us. So we'll head on. Making progress here, folks. I don't know. I think we finally climbed up out of that area where the shelter was, and we're kind of in a semi-leveling off place, which will hopefully carry us on into the area that we're going to be picked up at. So hopefully I don't see a whole lot more change in the elevation from here. All right, more information as we see it. Doing well, folks. Less than a mile for sure from the Rockfish Gap, which is where we'll be exiting. So we should be there in just a few. All right, everybody, we have made it to the Quality Inn in Waynesboro, Virginia. So a good day altogether. Again, 14.4 miles. Good solid day. A little warmed up towards the end, and yeah, I was about cooked. And we've already had the opportunity to go down the street and grab some dinner, and it's kind of starting to settle in a little bit now. But overall, really good day. Appreciate y'all joining, and we'll look forward to catching up with y'all first thing in the morning.